3 weeks later, I got another letter. This one handwritten, clean, sharp penmanship. You ruined me. You made me build an empire just to prove I didn't need you. But I never stopped needing the truth. There was an address, a private house on the edge of the city. I went. It was a cold, sterile mansion. The butler let me in without a word. And there he was, Matthew, thinner, paler, but still terrifying in his silence. I don't forgive you, he said without preamble. I know. I just want to understand why. I told him everything, every detail. No excuses, no softening. He listened, silent. When I finished, he nodded, then said, leave, and never come back. I needed to hear it, that's all. Weeks later, I saw the obituary. Matthew Holloway, 29, CEO, philanthropist, visionary, survived by his daughter. No mention of biological parents, no funeral invitation, no reconciliation. He had taken the truth to the grave and left me behind with the silence. I now live in a halfway house. I clean toilets for food, talk to no one. Sometimes I see a woman on the street who looks like Rachel. I never approach. Maybe she'll forget me. That would be mercy. At night, I see his face in dreams. The baby I left, the man he became, the final look in his eyes. And every morning I wake up hoping I won't. But I always do. Another year passed. I lived in and out of motels, old factories, alleys. Then one night, a knock on my motel door. I opened it and saw a young woman, early 20s, pale, nervous eyes. Are you Daniel? She asked. Who's asking? She swallowed. My name's Rachel. I think I'm your granddaughter. I let her in. She explained that she was Matthew's daughter. He never spoke of me, but she'd found letters, old ones, hidden deep in his office. He'd kept them, even the ones I sent and he returned unopened. She said he was sick, cancer, aggressive, untreatable, months, maybe weeks. And he's angry all the time, she said. I think he wants to forgive you, but he doesn't know how. My heart ached. Can I see him? I asked. She shook her head. He doesn't know I'm here. He wouldn't let me. But I had to meet you. I had to know why he was so broken inside. I had no answer. She left before sunrise. One cold morning, a black envelope arrived in the mailbox of the shelter I was staying in. No return address. Inside, a photo of Eliza, me, and the baby, and a note. He has my eyes. You never noticed. There was no threat, no demand, just that sentence. It shook me more than any threat could have. He wasn't just angry, he was watching me. Months passed. I tried to get work, but every application vanished into silence. I knew it was him. Matthew was pulling strings, closing doors, making sure I never rose again. It was subtle, quiet, undeniable. One day I snapped. I stood outside the gates of his corporate office for 6 hours, in the rain, holding a sign that read, I am your father. Just speak to me once. Security removed me by sundown. The next day, a restraining order was filed. He had erased me from his life completely, officially. After my encounter with Matthew, I thought I had hit rock bottom, but fate had more in store for me. 2 weeks after that failed interview, I got a call from an unknown number. A woman's voice, cold, precise. Is this Daniel Forres? Yes, I said hesitantly. You don't know me, but you knew Eliza. She was my sister. I froze. Who is this? Her name was on a list of emergency contacts when she was found. You were the only one who responded. I thought you deserved to know. She left something behind. I buried her, I said quietly. She left something else, the voice replied. A journal. I met the woman in a coffee shop on the edge of the city. She looked like Eliza, but hardened. Same eyes, but colder. She handed me a worn leather notebook. Read it. then stay the hell away from our family. She stood and left without another word. I opened the journal, hands trembling. It wasn't just Eliza's thoughts. It was her guilt, her confessions, her secrets. Page after page, she wrote about the things she never told me, like the fact that she had wanted to keep the baby, but her mother threatened to disown her, that she cried for days after we left him, that she visited that neighborhood 3 times, trying to catch a glimpse of the couple who raised him, that she even followed him to school once when he was 7, just to see that he looked healthy. She wrote about me too, how she blamed me, how she hated me for being so calm, so practical, when all she wanted was for me to say, let's keep him. Screw everything else. She'd hoped I'd fight her, that I'd convince her to be brave. But I hadn't. I had failed her. And our son. She wrote one more thing on the last page. If you ever find him and he hates you, just know he gets it from me. I became obsessed. I started researching Matthew, quietly, online. Turns out he was a rising star, CEO of a logistics company that was rapidly expanding across the East Coast. Interviews, magazine features, charity work, public speaking, the perfect son, the kind of man I could have only dreamed of becoming. I learned that the couple who raised him, George and Marion Holloway, were school teachers, couldn't have children of their own. When they found Matthew on the porch, they saw it as a gift from God. They gave him a life, a home, a future. I gave him abandonment. I thought about showing up at one of his conferences, maybe writing an open letter, maybe on something more drastic. But something else happened first. I was living out of my car, surviving off vending machine food and cold coffee. I saw a flyer in a gas station. Logistics manager wanted. New branch opening, good pay, full benefits. I didn't care what the job was. I just needed something. Anything. The building was clean and modern. The receptionist barely glanced at me before asking for my name. Daniel Forrest. She typed it in, then looked up. He's ready for you. Top floor. I rode the elevator up, rehearsing lines in my head. I expected a gray-haired manager with a clipboard, but when I walked in, I saw a young man, mid-20s, sharp suit, icy eyes. He didn't stand. Sit, he said. I obeyed. He studied me. Do you believe in karma, Mr. Forrest? I blinked. Excuse me? He leaned forward, folding his hands. Karma, divine punishment. Do you believe some choices damn us forever? I didn't answer. He smiled coldly. You should. I tried to laugh it off. Are you the manager? I own the company. That hit like a slap. He slid a photo across the desk. It was the blanket we'd wrapped our son in. Faded but unmistakable. My heart stopped. Where did you get this? I whispered. His eyes darkened. You left it with me, along with a note. I couldn't breathe. I found you through a DNA database, he continued. Took years, but you'd be amazed what people upload. I stood. Listen, son, I don't. His voice cut like a blade. You gave up that right the day you left me on a porch like trash. Tears welled in my eyes. We thought it was best. We were young, stupid. You were selfish. He stood too now, taller than me, stronger. And now? You want a job? You want forgiveness? I said nothing. You'll get neither. I stumbled out of the building. The city was colder now. I sat on the curb, shaking. He had a name now, Matthew. He had a life, a career, a future, and none of it included me. I tried writing to him, apologizing, explaining, but my letters came back unopened. Eliza died 2 winters later, alcohol poisoning in a motel room. I was the only one at her funeral. I brought a photo of the baby, placed it on her coffin. I sometimes think about that moment on the porch, the last time I held him, the way he gripped my finger. He doesn't remember me, but I'll never forget him. And maybe that's my punishment, not hell, not prison, just silence. I never thought the decisions I made in my early 20s would come back to haunt me like this. Life has a twisted sense of justice. It doesn't just punish you, it waits until you think you've escaped, then strikes with venom. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Her name was Eliza. We met during our second year of college. She was in journalism. I was in business. She had this laugh, this radiant confidence that made every guy turn, but she picked me. I never knew why. I wasn't special, just average looks, average grades, average background. But she said I made her feel safe, that I listened, that I looked at her like she mattered. And for a time, we were perfect. We talked about kids, about getting a house in the countryside, building a life together far from our broken families. I didn't have a father. He'd vanished when I was 10. Eliza's mom was on her third husband by the time she was 20. We wanted something real, something lasting. When Eliza found out she was pregnant, I remember how tightly she hugged me. She was shaking but smiling. "It's happening," she whispered into my chest. "We're going to be a family." At first I was scared, terrified even, but I told her it'd be okay. We'd make it work. And for a while we tried. It's hard to describe the shift. The pregnancy was hard on Eliza, physically and emotionally. We were young, barely making rent, and our friends were still partying, living carefree. Eliza became withdrawn. She cried at night when she thought I was asleep. She resented how fast life was closing in around her. I got a second job. I did what I could, but love alone wasn't paying the bills. The birth changed everything. It should have been the most beautiful moment of our lives. But Eliza looked at the baby, and something snapped. I remember the silence. No joy, no tears. Just her staring at our son like he was a stranger. "I can't do this," she whispered. "I thought I could, but I can't." I tried to argue, but part of me was scared too. Deep down, I wondered if maybe we weren't ready, that maybe the baby would be better off with someone else. We didn't go through any legal system, no adoption agency, none proper. We just left him. We picked a quiet suburban house, a warm-looking place with toys in the yard, and left the baby in a basket on the porch, wrapped in a blanket, a note pinned to his chest. "Please give him a better life." That was the last time I saw my son, or so I thought. After that, life crumbled. Eliza started drinking. I got fired from my job for stealing supplies I thought I could sell. One landlord evicted us. Another took pity for a month before calling the cops. We bounced from couch to couch, shelter to shelter. Eliza's glow faded, mine too. We stopped speaking about the baby. It became taboo. Every time we tried to start over, something went wrong. Illness, debt, fires, legal trouble. You could call it bad luck, but it felt like a curse. One night, Eliza looked at me through swollen eyes and said, "He wasn't ours to throw away, and now nothing will ever be ours again." I left the next day, couldn't take the guilt and her spiraling grief. Years passed. I drifted between cities, jobs, women, but nothing lasted until I turned 42.